Hello and welcome to the do's and don'ts of group presentations, also known as presentation tips. Uh, this PowerPoint is available in the class folder, so you can go to the PowerPoint anytime, or you can come back to this video anytime. All right, let's get right to it. All right, so we're going to start with the physical message. And there are four physical messages, if you will, and they are voice, posture, eye contact, and gestures. So let me begin with gestures first. As you can see from the photo here, this man is keeping his hands and he's moving them a little bit, but in the kind of the lower chest, middle part of the body. Uh, so keep that in mind. But we are going to actually now begin with voice. All right. So you want to make sure that the people in the back of the room can also hear you. Uh, so what should you do? You should speak 150% louder than your normal speaking voice. Because the people in the front, of course, they're going to hear you, but you want to make sure everybody hears you. Of course, for us, it's only going to be your group and me. So all I ask is that you speak loud enough so that I can hear you. Uh, but down the road, if you have to give a presentation for one of your classes, uh, and it's a big room and everybody's watching, keep this in mind. Speak 150% louder than normal so that everybody is able to hear you, but also it releases nervous energy. That is, you're going to feel nervous. That's normal. Even I do after all these years. And of course, with nervousness comes the stress. By speaking louder, that nervous energy, that nervous stress actually comes down. It actually goes down. It doesn't go away, but it does become less. Also, by speaking louder, it shows enthusiasm about what it is that you are talking about, that you're not just talking. All right, let's move on to posture and let's look at what these people are doing. And I've seen this many times. And what happens is people are so nervous they don't even know that they're doing this. All right, let's look at the pendulum. The man is so nervous he's just swaying back and forth just like a pendulum. And below him, we have the man who thinks he's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. He's just standing on the side like that, just leaning so much that he actually looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Then we have the woman who's looking up at the stars. Uh, as you can see, she's called the Stargazer. And the man below her, who's looking out the window, as if he's bird watching. Uh, those are two big no-nos, as you should always be making eye contact with your audience. So don't stargaze and don't bird watch. Then we have the woman who looks like she's washing her hands. She's so nervous. She's rubbing her hands together so fast and that it looks like she's washing them. And then, of course, we have the woman who is super nervous, so nervous that she looks like she's a soldier at attention. And what happens there is that she starts to sound like a robot talking like this. So, yes, I've seen that many, many times and heard it many, many times. All right. So let's move on to eye contact. So, one, you should be making eye contact just to show, just to kind of show that you are with the audience. I do that in class too. I look around. I don't just look at one or two students. I look around the room. Uh, Now, of course, I do that so that I make sure that you understand what it is that I'm, let's say, asking you to do. I will give instructions and then I will look around. And if I see a couple of confused students, I will say, okay, class, let me be absolutely clear on what you should do, just to make sure that everybody understands what it is that they should be doing. Uh, just a second. My voice is getting a little dry. Hold on. Okay, so another reason would be, are they enjoying your speech? By looking around, I can tell if you are enjoying or feeling bored about the lesson. Same with you. You will be able to tell. With with me, don't worry, I'll be making notes, but I'm just saying in a large audience, you can kind of tell by looking around. You can also feel this. You can feel if people are enjoying what you're saying. All right. It also shows your confidence that you are absolutely sure about what it is you are talking about. And it also shows your that you did the work, that you are dedicated to what it is you are talking about, the subject. All right, so I've already spoken about gestures, so let's move on to structuring your presentation. All right, so the basic structure should be 3 by 3 by 3. Let me explain. So, I'm going to use an example here that you will see later in this video, and that is uh, why Samsung phones are better than iPhones. All right, so the first is to plan the overall structure. So what is that? That is the introduction. Hello. Today, our group is going to talk about why we feel Samsung phones are better than iPhones. And then at the end, one of us would say, and these are the reasons why we feel Samsung phones are better than iPhones. Do you have any questions? All right, but what are these reasons? They come in the middle. So let me start again. And these would be the main points. Of, again, there will be three main points. So, hello. Uh, our group is going to talk about why we feel Samsung phones are better than iPhones. One, all Samsung phones come with Samsung Pay, which we feel is very useful. Two, we feel that the OS is very user-friendly, much more user-friendly than the iOS. And three, we feel that the AI features on Samsung phones are much better and easier to understand than on iPhones. So what happens now? The audience knows that they're going to hear about why Samsung Pay is great or easy to use. Then we're going to hear about why the group feels that the OS is much more user-friendly than the iOS. And of course, what makes the AI on Samsung phones better than on iPhones? So those main points, they're going to explain the reason why. And then, of course, at the end, you bring that all together as to why the group feels Samsung phones are better than iPhones. And then, of course, you're going to be reminding. So the last thing, of course, is to repeat, 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 reminding what it is that you are talking about. And what is that? That is the introduction, what you will say, the main points, say it and explain it. And the conclusion, what you said. There you go. All right, moving on. So how to plan. So this is just an idea. I have tips or ideas, groups of three, four, and five. So let's start with groups of three. So we have the introduction. So one member does this. We have the main points. There are three of them. So of course, each member will have to speak. And then we have the conclusion. One member does the conclusion. So as you can see, uh, one person speaks once. Actually, one person speaks twice. The other person speaks twice, and only one person speaks once. And you feel, well, that's not fair. Why should only one student speak once? The member who isn't doing the introduction or conclusion should speak more. So whatever the group feels is the most important point, that student should speak longer and more about that point to make it clear. So then that way, uh, it feels fair. But again, it is your group, so you can plan it how you want. So let's move on to, yeah, another thing to consider is the basic structure, introduction, main point, conclusion. All this is saying is that each main point will have an introduction, a main point, a conclusion. All right, so groups of four. So here, one member would present twice. Here I have the blue. So the green member introduces, three members talk about the three different main points, and then one of them does the conclusion. So what happens is the The two members who aren't doing the introduction or conclusion should plan to talk about the most important points and speak longer. All right, now for groups of five, it's very, very simple. Each member presents. That's it. There's there's no one or two speak longer about more about, the most important points. Everybody just speaks once. All right, so now comes the Samsung iPhone. So transitions. Um, this is basically going from point A to point B, or in a drama or movie, going from one scene to the next smoothly, not just end start. It's kind of like a smooth way of getting from one to the other. And in presentations, it works the same way. So this student is concluding what he was saying. So that is one reason we feel that Samsung phones are better than iPhones. Next, Minji will tell you another reason. Uh, of course, if he knows what that reason is, he can say, Minji will tell you about why the OS is more user friendly, right? Uh, thanks, Sungju. As he said, Samsung Pay is one reason their phones are better. Another is the OS. So then we know that she's going to start talking about the OS, how it's user friendly, why it's much better than the iOS. All right, so remember, there should be three main points to the body of your presentation. Hello, today we're going to talk about why we feel Samsung phones are better than iPhones because they come with Samsung Pay, the OS is user-friendly, the AI features are better. But so you have the introduction, the three main points, then each student will talk about each of these main points more, explaining uh, about Samsung Pay, about the OS being user friendly and the AI features being better. And of course, the question is, why three? Well, two main points are too few to be convincing. Four or more main points make it harder for the audience to understand what it is that is being said. They're trying to keep that all in mind, and it's not easy. So it seems to be that the magic number here is three, but not only here. Um, it's used a lot when people give speeches, commercials. You know, three seems to be the magic number. All right, moving on. So, what is the basic structure of a presentation? Three by three by three. There are three parts to your presentation: introduction, body, conclusion. Again, body would be the main points. And repeat your message three times throughout your presentation, whatever the main point is. Try to put it in there 3 times. And yep, tell them what you will say it, remind them of what you said. Introduction, main point, conclusion. So remember the do's and don'ts. Uh, stand up straight, sit up straight. Uh, for those of you on Zoom, sit up straight. Uh, don't lean or sway. Make eye contact. Look at the camera or look at me or look in my general area. Speak loudly and clearly. Please don't speak softly or mumble your words. Loudly, clearly. Connect with your audience. Don't just talk. And of course, you should be so sure about what it is you're talking about that you should invite questions and be ready to answer pretty much any questions that you get. Chances are I will not be asking anything, and if I do, it might be about your product or service. Uh, but these are good tips, again, for any time you have to give any sort of presentation. All right, now because this is in the class folder, I have some links here. Oh, let me go back. I have some links here uh, to help you. These are other do's and don'ts or effective presentation skills. So yeah, these links are available in the PowerPoint, which is in the class folder. Well, that's it. I hope this helped, and I'll see you in class to answer any questions that you might have. Of course, you know that one of the classes before the exams will be only about the exams, making sure that you understand everything you have to do. So that's it. I'll see you guys in class. Have a great day.